Hello and welcome once again to my Studio Chronicles. It has been a busy week for me this week, and I have had lots going on. I've been teaching, and I attended an exhibition opening this Sunday where I won an award. I'm going to be sharing that with you shortly, but I just wanted to let you know what's coming up today. Oh, did I do a blunder? I am officially going to announce I am not a videographer. I really screwed up this week with my videos. So I'm going to tell you about that. And at the end of this video, in my tools section, I'm not exactly exploring tools because I'm kind of exploring tools throughout this video. But what I'm going to do is offer up some photos that you are absolutely welcome to use as reference if you're interested in painting flowers, because my flower garden, which is almost entirely volunteer, I haven't planted seeds for a couple of years at least, but my garden is exploding with flowers right now. I've got zinnias and cosmos, and I'm going to put some of those at the very end of this video. Help yourself. Put the video on pause. You can capture the screen if you want, or take a picture with your cell phone if you like to paint flowers. There's some very pretty references if I do say so myself. So, first of all, I'm going to drop in a couple of pictures. A couple of friends of mine and I entered a show to the Watercolor Art Society Houston, and we noticed that this juror might be willing to take a look at works on canvas. Traditionally, watercolor has been painted on paper, but as you know, if you've been watching these Studio Chronicles, I'm trying to get out from under glazing. So I'm trying different things with watercolor as well as with acrylics and mixed media. And anyway, a couple of friends and I entered the monthly show, and I'm just thrilled to announce that for the first time with this organization, the juror chose 3 works on canvas and 3 works that are abstract, or actually non-representational. They aren't even abstracted. They're non-representational paintings. That's another first for this organization. And I'll show you here. I'll drop in. My friend Carol Andrews won first prize. It was the first time she ever entered at the Watercolor Art Society Houston, and she got first. I'm so happy for her. And my piece took a second prize, and the red ribbon, if you will. And I was very pleased about that because for the first time I entered a diptych. So I hooked the 2 paintings together, but you'll see here that the diptych is wider on the left than it is on the right. And this juror mentioned that he really liked that. You know, everything that you enter is a risk, and you never know what a juror is going to like or not. And in this case, he liked that. And my friend Pam Soilo took the 3rd prize. It's the painting on the left. And yes, so she had a lot of texture. She even had beads, and I think some mediums that had various types of texture, maybe glass, I'm not sure. But anyway, it was the most interesting surface, and the juror liked that as well. I am thrilled that I won an award. It's always fun to win an award. And then I want to tell you about teaching a class at the Watercolor Society on Saturday. I have taught many classes down there, and I presented something not unfamiliar to you if you've seen my other videos. I have been comparing various types of canvas and gessos and things like that you could put on canvas with the express intention of painting watercolor. I'm exploring how watercolor will work out from under glazing. So I gave everyone a few different types of canvases, and I asked them to try them, and we explored the variety of surfaces. And after everybody painted for a while, I got everyone's permission to go around the room and do a video. Well, I did 3 videos, and I was very excited because by the time I went around, everyone had tried all of these varieties of surfaces, of substrates, and everybody had a different experience, and they were very willing to share what they liked and what they didn't like and what interested them. We were all outside of our familiarity zone because these are things that we're trying for the first time. So I got some great videos, and when I got home Saturday night to edit my videos to share them with you here, I discovered that every time I hit the record button on my phone, I was turning off the record button, and every time I hit it to turn it off, I was turning it on. So I got no interviews, and I got a lot of video of the floor and the ceiling and my pocket. And so I will not be sharing those with you, but I did manage to get just a couple of photos of people working. And at the very end of the class, we had a show and tell. So we put all of our little paintings, our miniatures, on the back counter, and I had a walkthrough. So I'm going to share those with you, and I pause just a little bit here and there so that you get a chance to see the variety of things that people painted. So here I am at the front of the classroom where I'm showing a few pieces, and here I'm walking around and capturing a couple of examples of the way that people started painting on these surfaces, and here are some results. I just love it. Oh my gosh. How fun. Oh my goodness. And they're all so different. Wow.
You? No, Charlie's. Charlie. No, right there. Wow, I like that one. Very good. We're gonna sell it.
So those were some remarkable results, if you ask me. Everyone working strictly in watercolor, no mixed media, straight watercolor on canvas, various supports and grounds. I'm going to show you now exactly what we were painting on, so maybe this will help you make some decisions for yourself. So I had prepared some supports for the class so that they could experience a variety of supports and surfaces. First of all, everybody got one of these little canvases. They're 4 inches square, and they come with a little tripod. You can buy these in big box stores. You can buy them on Amazon. They're very affordable. They're about $1 a piece. Sometimes you can get them for even less. And they come with a pretty poor excuse for gesso. It's a canvas that has been painted with basically white paint. There's not much plasticity to it. And when you paint on it, which I did here, painting on just the raw canvas, this is watercolor on canvas, but you can kind of see the warp and woof. It's not very tightly wove, but I mean, for $1 a piece, you can't really complain too much. So I wanted everybody to get an experience of painting on the canvas, pretty close to raw canvas. And then I also gave everyone one of the same canvases, but I coated it with one layer of watercolor ground. And I labeled it as such so people could compare the two. And what this did was fill in, just putting one layer of this, it kind of filled in some of the warp and woof and made it so that when people paint on it, it doesn't absorb down in as much. Another option would be for someone to paint gesso on it. You know, another layer or two of gesso would be an option, and I would recommend that. I passed out some pages of old Metropolitan Museum calendars. You know, I've subscribed to the Metropolitan Museum over several years, and I've gotten their daily calendars. And so I let everybody grab something that they could paint a similar image on more than one substrate and kind of get a comparison, apples to apples. So we all painted on the Daniel Smith watercolor ground and with the Behr canvas ground. And I gave an example of having painted really dark watercolor on the Behr canvas and then trying to lift it. It didn't lift very crisply, but it did lift to some extent. But for the most part, the paint, even though it was not staining paint, it kind of did absorb down in. So this wouldn't work very well unless, if you want to lift, you would want to put either gesso or watercolor ground on the canvas. I also brought an example of the fact that this canvas is really a fun way to do collage. If you're like me and you have a lot of jelly print papers and ephemera, you can glue some bits of paper down and make some fun little collage paintings, and they make nice gifts. I've sold a few, I've given a few away over the holidays, and so that's another option. But back to watercolor. I also discovered, while I was preparing for this class, a product that I'm pretty excited about. It's a canvas that's wrapped on a board, a panel, I should say, and it's made by the company Yes. And I'm pretty impressed by this. I had never tried it until Saturday, but this panel is triple coated. So it's been primed. They call it prime. Triple primed, so you don't need to add any gesso or ground to it. And it is extremely fine wove. So the warp and woof is so tiny threads. There are many, many threads per inch. It kind of reminds me of very fine bed linens. So this was really a nice surface to paint in watercolor. I just played with it. I laid some colors down and then tried lifting it back, and it lifted nicely. So I'm looking forward to playing with this some more. I really liked the surface. It was easy to paint watercolor on it. And so I am ordering some 12 by 12 inch panels, which will be really easy to pop in the suitcase and travel with. So yeah, I'm pretty impressed with that. So there you have it. There's my show and tell for today. And like I promised earlier, my tools segment will be some photos from my garden. So thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you next week. Don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to hit that little bell so that you are notified when I have other content. Take care. Have a good week.